Preparing
our presentation on ancient Rome.
The rise of Rome. In short, Rome was a state, not a tyranny. In fact, during most of its expansion, Rome was in fact a republic, not governed by an emperor but by the Roman Senate. People preferred to be ruled by Rome, for the alternatives were either wild barbarians to the north or tyrannies to the east and south. Also, some kings without heirs left their kingdoms to the Romans, seeing Rome as the best governor of their people after their own death. Kingdoms like Cyrene and Pergamum fell into the Roman possession by such peaceful means. Also, empires of that time broke apart if they were attacked by a foe. The oppressed people under the hand of the dominant power rose up and joined the foe. This happened when Rome attacked others, but failed to occur when others attacked the Roman territory. Naturally, the famous Roman army is also a major contributor to the building of the empire.
The Roman Empire social classes. The social structure of the Roman Empire was based on wealth, property, and heredity, and the only way to move up this social ladder was through patronage or acquisition of wealth or property. Classes were distinguished by dress. For example, the emperor was the only person allowed to wear a purple toga. The social classes in Rome were patricians, also called a noble or aristocrat, who were the wealthy elites, senators, who were the political class whose power shifted depending on the attitude of the emperor, equestrians, who were former Roman cavalry who later became a sort of business class, and plebeians, who were free citizens, slaves, soldiers, and women, basically a commoner. The government. From rise to fall, the Roman government consisted of a strange mix of democracy and republic. An interesting fact is that the people of Rome took many of their ideas of the government from the ancient Greeks. The Roman state was described as the republic and its consuls, or chief magistrates, that continued to be appointed even after the establishment of one-man rule under the empire. But in its pure form, it lasted only until the beginning of the 1st century BC. Creation of the Republic, supreme power probably resided with a popular assembly, but early on the Senate became very influential. The traditional formula which survived for centuries was SPQR, the Senatus Populis Romanus. It consisted of the Roman Senate and people acting together. Since the ancient Romans didn't want one man to make all of the laws, they decided to balance the power of the government between three branches. And there was the first executive branch, legislative branch, and finally the judicial branch. Also, did you know that the Romans have had almost every type of government there is? They've had a kingdom, a republic, a dictatorship, and an empire.
The Romans imported a whole variety of materials: beef, corn, glassware, iron, lead, leather, marble, olive oil, perfumes, purple dye, silk, silver, spices, timber, tin, and wine. The main trading partners were in Spain, France, the Middle East, and North Africa. The Romans made trade as easy as possible. There was only one currency used, and there were no complicating custom dues. Trade was also encouraged by many years of peace within the empire. Trade was vital to the success of the empire. When the empire collapsed, trade throughout the land that had once made up the Roman Empire also collapsed. The Mediterranean Sea became a dangerous place for merchants, as there was no power to control the activities of pirates who marauded as far north as the English Channel. In all accounts, the Roman gods were almost exactly the same as the Greek gods in terms of godly powers. Heroes, with the exception of a few exclusive Roman heroes, the only difference would be that the Roman gods in appearance and action are a bit more warlike than the Greek gods, appearing to people often with swords at their belts and a few soldiers behind them, unlike the Greek gods who took a more laid-back appearance and often displayed many human traits. The Romans enjoyed many luxuries for their day, including public toilets, underground sewage systems, fountains, and ornate public baths. None of these aquatic innovations would have been possible without the Roman aqueduct. First developed around 312 BCE, these engineering marvels used gravity to transport water along stone, lead, and concrete pipelines into city centers. Many ancient Roman structures like the Pantheon, the Colosseum, and the Roman Forum are still standing today thanks to the development of Roman cement and concrete. The Romans first began building with concrete over 2,100 years ago and used it throughout the Mediterranean basin in everything from aqueducts and buildings to bridges and monuments. The Scorpio was a small catapult-type weapon, more of a sniper weapon than a siege engine, operated by one man. The Scorpio was basically an early crossbow, a catapult with bolts instead of stones. A weapon of remarkable precision and power, the Scorpio was particularly dreaded by the enemies of the Roman Empire.
The legal system. The Roman law is the legal system of ancient Rome. Since the days of the law of the 12 tables that developed during the early republic, the Roman legal system was characterized by a formalism that lasted for years. Early Roman law was drawn from customs and statutes, but later during the times of the empire, the emperors asserted the authority as the ultimate source of law. The basis for Roman law was the idea that the exact form, not the intention, of words or actions produced legal consequences. The Romans recognized that there are witnesses to actions and words, but not to intentions. Roman civil law allowed great flexibility in adopting new ideas or extending legal principles in the complex environment of the empire. Without replacing older laws, the Romans developed alternative procedures that allowed greater fairness. It was not until much later in the 6th century AD that the Emperor Justinian I, who ruled over Byzantine Empire in the east, began to publish a comprehensive code of laws, collectively known as the Corpus Juris Civilis, but more familiarly as the Justinian Code.
The Roman army was nothing but pure raw power. They are the reason why Rome was so great and why it conquered as many places as it did. The Roman army was incredibly organized. The Roman army was broken down into 5 different parts. The tent group. The tent group consisted of 8 men. Centuria was made up of 10 tent groups with a total of 80 men commanded by a centurion. Cohorts included 6 centurii, or a total of 480 fighting men, not including officers. In addition to the first cohort was double the strength, but with only 5 centurii instead of the normal 6. A legio or a legion consisted of 10 cohorts. Additionally, each legion had a 120-man cavalry unit called the Equus Legionis permanently attached to it. They were possibly used as scouts and messengers. With this much organization, the Roman army was able to shift very fluidly in any situation and adapt quickly to anything that happened unexpectedly.
Roman ideas that we use in our everyday life. One of the Roman ideas that we use for everyday lives is the calendar. The Julian calendar is very similar to the Gregorian calendar we use today. The only difference is that the Gregorian calendar has leap years while the Julian calendar was off by 11 minutes. The welfare is also used in our everyday lives because of the court system. The court system has a rule that goes innocent until proven guilty, which means that until the person in the court is proven guilty, they will be innocent. Roman ideas that are still around today. Some Roman ideas that are still around today are things like aqueducts and newspapers. The biggest part of Rome that is still around today is the government. Rome's government was a democracy. This idea is being used by the United States government. This means that the people are free and they elect their president. Another Roman idea that is still around today are the roads. There are some roads made out of a combination of dirt, gravel, and bricks. The road were also sideways to allow for water drainage. The fall of the Roman Empire. Rome fell because of the invasion from barbarian tribes. Rome's military lost against the barbarian tribes, which are the Goths, with their outside forces. The Goths were an army from Germany. Rome then spent several decades under constant threat. The Eternal City was attacked several times, which caused the Roman Empire to fall. They spent many years battling many tribes, which concluded with the Roman Empire falling. Some of the tribes which attacked the Roman Empire were the Vandals, the Goths, and Germanic armies. When the Roman Empire fell, there wouldn't be any more rulers leading in the post from Italy. Ancient Rome also fell because of economical troubles. Even if Rome wasn't being attacked, it would have fallen anyways from the financial issues. Rome's economy depended on slaves to fill its fields and work. Rome's government was being corrupted as well. There were so many reasons as to why the Roman Empire fell. Being the Roman emperor was always a dangerous job. The emperor had to have many bodyguards called Praetorian Guards to protect the emperor.
Commanded by a centurion. Cohorts included 6 centurii, or a total of 480 fighting men, not including officers. In addition, the first